Hi, welcome to our week 2 introductory video. This last week we focused on our community partnerships and getting those things lined up for a service for the course. Over the last few days I've been on a biking trip with my son. We biked the Bike for Wisconsin trails, and one of the towns that we stopped in on the 4th of July was Kendall, Wisconsin. And that town was getting ready for about 5,000 people to arrive to celebrate the 4th of July. And I was amazed at the amount of volunteers that were there, getting the fireworks set up, putting together different activities for people of all ages, just providing for a fun time for everyone to celebrate their citizenship as a citizen of the United States, and just to come together as a community. No one was getting, I shouldn't say no one, but most people weren't getting paid for this. They were just volunteering their time to help people celebrate. And that's really what we looked at last week was how can we be a part of our communities and offer of ourselves and our time in service. This week, our topic is working together for the common good. And this topic is focusing on the common good and social justice and what those things mean. And the idea of the common good is engaging in service, engaging in helping our community, our society, not only because it helps ourselves, whether that it's lifting us up personally or it's giving us a reputation of being a good person, but also and not only that we are just offering charity, just helping people who are in need or have lack of resources, but a little of both. Helping those who have lack of resources to bring them up, and then those of us who have access to more resources, sharing of our gifts, sharing of our resources, so that it kind of even outs the playing field, and we can all as a community, all as a society, enjoy equal access to basic needs, basic rights. So, to start off with, kind of to wrap up some loose ends from last week, assignments. We seem to come to a rocky start for this class. There are a number of assignments that are past due, just kind of in general by everyone in the class. It is really important to try to get those assignments in on time or within a reasonable amount of time. I mean, I understand that it's summertime and you all are working and have other obligations, and if you can get your assignments in, even a day or two late, while that's not ideal, what it does is we're having a problem right now with people being able to respond to posts, for instance, and so it's kind of like this huge backlog is happening because a few people aren't getting their assignments done, and that kind of halts the whole discussion process. So I really encourage you to make an effort to get your assignments done on time. Please let me know if you're having problems doing that. Please let me know what it is that your challenges are to getting your assignments done on time, and let me know if what I can do to help you be able to get things in, to facilitate that whole process. Because right now, like I said, things are some people are working really hard to get things done on time and are being prevented from doing so because others are not getting anything in on time. So just communicate with me and we'll figure this all out. Posts for the online lecture and discussion that was held on Wednesday. No one was able to attend that lecture at 1 p.m., which is fine. That is not required. What is required is that everyone view the recording of that lecture, and then if you weren't able to be there for the lecture, to do some discussion posts so that you get that discussion time in. And it doesn't look like, excuse me, many people have posted yet or actually even viewed that lecture. So please get that taken care of. Service group discussions. These are your small group discussion times. Getting that first post in on time is really important so that other people are able to respond to you. To break it down for you in case you haven't had a chance to thoroughly look through the assignment calendar. The first post is always due on Wednesday of the week. The second post, which is a response to your teammates, is due on Saturday of each week. And then there's one person from each service group who is designated as the discussion summarizer, and that person is to post a discussion summary that's due on Sunday at each week, and this is by midnight of these days. Service groups, we've had some drops already, and it looks like there may be one or two more drops that are happening in the next week or so. So just to give you all a heads up, the service groups may be updated for week 3. For week 2, you're still in the same service groups as you were last week. I'll keep in touch with you about any changes that we need to make as people come in and out of our class. Wednesday last week, you had your service learning proposal was due. From what everyone has communicated to me, for the most part, it sounds like you do have a community partner in place. However, I have not received those service learning proposals from everyone yet, and that is something that we need to have in order for you to actually do your service. So if you could make sure that you submit that on Moodle in the service learning proposal submission area in the week 1 area, that would be really helpful and is actually required. Let's see, what else is there? Service shots. Service shots are pictures that you take while you are engaging in your service. Now, these service shots serve a number of purposes. The first thing is that they are kind of like preparation for your final presentation. Your final presentation that you'll be doing is actually a presentation of these service shots. So it's kind of a proactive way for you to start gathering photo images for this presentation. Some people have questions about, well, what exactly am I supposed to be taking pictures of? Look at the presentation, the final presentation rubric that's posted. I think it's in week 3, the week 3 area, and that area is accessible now. Look at that rubric and then think of what sort of pictures can I take while I'm doing my service that will address these learning outcomes. Now, some people had contacted me about confidentiality issues at their community partner with taking the photos. Their community partner doesn't allow photos to be taken of clients, which is actually very typical and which is something that I was expecting. The easy solution, if this is the case with your community partner, is that you just don't take photos that have clients in them. You can take photos of the facility. You can take photos of staff members or other volunteers. You can ask staff members or volunteers to kind of stand in as clients if you want to take some photo shots of you working with a client, but it's not really a client. It is a staff member or a fellow volunteer, someone that you're volunteering with. Those are some easy solutions that other students have done in the past that are really typical. For instance, I work at Mayo Franciscan in La Crosse, and all of the publicity photos that they use that have patients in them, those aren't really patients. Those are actually nursing staff posing as patients. So you just need to do the same sort of thing. It's just a matter of recruiting someone to help you with that. Let's see, what else with the service shots? There are service shots that are due every week. This past week, there was one service shot that was due. Unfortunately, I don't think anyone actually posted a service shot, so please get those in. And then next week, there are 2 service shots that are due. And the whole idea behind having you do these service shots is that it's helping you prepare for your final presentation. So it doesn't get to the end of the 7 weeks and you're like, I got to put together a final presentation. You'll have all of these photos together with the captions, and it's just a matter then of piecing them together into a PowerPoint or some other sort of presentation to present, to submit for your final presentation. And it's also really important to get those service shots in on time so that your fellow classmates have a chance to respond to those posts, because your fellow classmates will have ideas about what they see in your shots that maybe didn't occur to you, or might have questions that you can respond to in your final presentation. It's all about helping you get that presentation ready. And then there's paperwork. There was a number of paperwork pieces that were due last week that it looks like some people did get done, but a number of people did not. And these are paperwork pieces that the university needs to have done, like the liability form and updating your emergency contact information, that really need to be done before you start your service. And so if you haven't completed that, please just take a moment. It'll only take you a few seconds to go online and complete that information. All right, so that was it for kind of like the wrap up of week 1. Now going into week 2, working together for the common good. Here are some pointers, some things to think about. First of all, it is really important to do the pre-reading assignments ahead of time. And I can see from our Moodle site that most of you, in fact, no one has looked at any of the videos or the 2 articles that you needed to pre-read for this coming week. This is really important to do your pre-reading. For instance, one of the articles this week, the Rawls, is a very heady, very difficult article to read. It looks like it's easy, it's really short, and it's something that you're going to need to read at least twice to be able to have any sort of grasp of. So I really encourage you to take some time to do the reading. Besides the textbook reading, there's some articles and things that you also need to do on the Moodle site. One of the textbooks that you're reading that's new for this week is Parker Palmer's Let Your Life Speak, Listening for the Voice of Vocation. This book, it's a really easy read. It's really thin. And it was a book that I introduced last semester that got really good feedback from students. I had many students who said this was their favorite textbook that we used, that they found it very pertinent to their lives and some questions that they had going on with them right now, and just felt that it was just really beneficial in helping them figure out where to move forward from here as far as their life goes, which is exactly what this class is about. Besides that Rawls article, which is let's just focus on the Rawls article. That is social justice theory. So this week I said we're focusing on social justice, so that's where you're getting that is out of that Rawls theory of social justice. And then the common good, which is the other focus of this week, the key article for that is the Velasquez article on the common good. And that's a really easy read. It breaks the common good, which can be kind of a morphing, ubiquitous sort of idea. It breaks it down into some principles, which I think makes it very accessible to more people. And for your second reflection paper that's going to be due in a couple of weeks, the common good and social justice are the most weighted items on the rubric. So really take some time to read those two articles, because that's what you're going to need to refer to for those rubric points. There are also a number of videos that I posted on the week 2 area of Moodle that are going to help you understand these articles, especially the Rawls article. There's 2 videos there that talk about original position and the 2 principles of social justice specifically. I really encourage you to watch them, because I'm going to be very honest with you. It's a very difficult reading. It's a reading that I have found to be very difficult, and I finally was. It took many readings for me to really get a good grasp of the material, and so I encourage you to watch those videos to help you get that grasp of it. This week, tomorrow or Monday, depending on when you're watching it, Monday, our first reflective journal paper is due, and that's due by midnight on Monday. On Monday, our expectation post is also due, and that weekly expectation post is due every Monday. And this is, once again, something that not many people did last week, and I really encourage you to do. It is easy. It's nothing fancy or difficult. I'm just looking for a few words, phrases, maybe a sentence or 2. I mean, it honestly doesn't even have to be more than a few words of what you expect to learn about this week. Or if you have some questions after what you read in your pre-reading, some questions that you would like to be answered. What I use those expectation posts for is to tailor the Wednesday online lecture and discussion to what most people seem to be expecting to learn about, or what most people have questions about. So please take some time to just post a few words at least, and that helps me out quite a bit. Let's see. There are 2 service shots due this week. The first one is due on Tuesday, and the second one is due on Friday. And then people, you need to respond to one of your classmates' service shots on Sunday of this week. We have a service group discussion again this week. That initial posting is due on Wednesday, and this week's small group discussion is on the Rawls A Theory of Justice reading. And then this week, if you didn't already start last week, you need to start researching with your community partner what sort of small funding needs your community partner might have for some crowdfunding. And actually, some of you have noted in your posts already that you are aware of some funding needs that your community partner has, and that's awesome. So keep those ears open and your eyes open for ways that we as a class can do some crowdfunding for your community partner. And kind of looking ahead, we're going to be doing some voting on some proposals and voting on a project, and then we're going to do some crowdfunding using Indiegogo. Let's see, what else is there? I guess looking ahead to week 3, Just to reiterate that this week, the reading that you're doing should actually be for next week, week 3. Those pre-reading assignments are Crest Chapter 5, Pain, which is Bridges Out of Poverty, which is a new book, Chapter 1 through 4 in Pain. There are a number of videos posted in the week 3 area, which is now available on Moodle. And then take a look at the, I've posted links to Indiegogo tutorials. Take a look at those tutorials. And also, if you don't already have an account with Indiegogo, set up an account, because everybody will need to have an account with them for us to do our crowdfunding social justice project. So, so that's what we have going on this week. Please communicate with me if you, it does seem like in general we're off to a bit of a slow start, and I want to understand why that is, and so that I can help you get caught up, and if there's any things that we need to be aware of in the future when offering this class online, to help people have a better start of things, that will be helpful too. So thanks for your time. Thank you for your feedback and your input. This is a learning process for all of us. Like I said in last week's lecture, we're all teachers here. We're all learners here. This is a learning community. And I thank you for your time. And I'm looking forward to working some more together for the common good. So have a great evening or day or morning or whenever you're watching this video. Take care. Bye-bye.